Well, what's going on, everyone? Torn Shirk. I am the Director of Operations at Serviceside. Thank you, everyone, for joining. This is our Waterfowl videography webinar presented by Tactacam and the Seasoned Butcher. Rob Nally is the regional sales manager here in the Mid-Atlantic. He's going to be hosting this webinar. We're going to be discussing how to use the Tactacam system, various ways to capture footage on your hunts, creativity, camera angles, A-roll, B-roll, that kind of stuff. And then Jim, he is co-owner of the Seasoned Butcher. And for our audience, the Seasoned Butcher is actually offering a really, really great deal for Tactacams for purchase. You'll have to use the Serviceside code, which I will email to everyone, and Jim will share his screen and show you how to get in there to get that. Jim, do you want to go over that now?
I certainly can.
All right. So Jim, why don't you take over and share your screen and show everybody, one, how to get to your website, and then two, where they can go to purchase Tactacams, and then we'll dive into Rob's presentation.
You're going to have to give me the screen share. You got that locked up as the host. If that's a problem, I'll just type it in the chat bar.
Just type it in the chat bar for now.
Yep.
I will change the screen share.
Yeah, that's fine. Everybody, it's really simple. I'm just going to go ahead and send you to the exact address. If you have the app, you'll also have access to this as well through the Serviceside app. But if you go to the seasonedbutcher.com, exactly spelled exactly like it sounds, /Tactacam / I'm typing it right now, Tactacam /Serviceside, and that'll get you there. And then the password is case sensitive, all capital letters, Tactacam. And I'm going to hit enter so y'all can see it right there. And I'm going to check the spelling of seasonedbutcher.com /Tactacam /Serviceside, all caps. That'll get you in there, and you'll have the best pricing you can find anywhere on the internet. So we'll go ahead and let you get Rob on here, Torn.
All right, appreciate that. Again, Jim, for doing that for us. Excuse me, fighting a little bit of a cold right now. But everybody, welcome Rob Nally, the regional sales manager of the Mid-Atlantic region. Rob is well-versed in waterfowl hunting. Also bow hunts whitetails, is down in the Maryland area, so he's right in the Atlantic Flyway. Take it over, Rob.
There we go. Now we're working. All right. So anyway, my name's Rob. As Torrin said, I'm the sales manager here for Tactacam for the eastern part of the country. Appreciate you guys having me on tonight. We had a pretty good last seminar talking a little bit of whitetail hunting, and figured with a lot of our waterfowl season really coming in for the rest of the year, we'd revisit and kind of touch base on a little bit different way to use this Tactacam system. As Jim said, the Seasoned Butcher is offering you guys as Serviceside members some pretty incredible deals that we've set up. Deals that are too good to advertise the price, I'll put it that way. Our products are priced a certain way, and Jim and the Seasoned Butcher have gone above and beyond to offer you guys, along with Serviceside, pricing that you're not going to find anywhere else. So thanks, Jim and Torn, for getting that set up. And I hope everybody definitely checks it out. But to kick it off, for anybody that's not familiar with Tactacam, we pride ourselves in building the easiest to use cameras and camera systems in the outdoor industry for the outdoorsman, whether it be hunting, fishing, bow hunting, waterfowl, doesn't matter. We've got a camera and a mounting system that's going to allow you to film anything you're doing. Here tonight, we're going to specifically talk on waterfowl and the mounts, the cameras, and the different ways you guys can take your video from just your average waterfowl video up to the next level. So just to give you guys a little bit of insight, if you're not familiar with our products, uh, this is our basic camera. So we have our 5.0 camera here. Now, the camera itself weighs 3.4 ounces. That's full weight. This is it. This is the full size camera, records in 4K, has the ability to record in slow motion as well. It's all one touch operation. So there's not a bunch of different buttons, modes, or anything like that you have to scroll through. When you want to start recording with a Tactacam, you tap the power button one single time, the light comes on, it vibrates twice to let you know, and this camera is making a 4K video. So it literally gets no easier than tapping a single button, and the camera is now recording. Now, as far as mounting systems, like I was saying, we've got a mount for whatever you're going to be hunting with. Waterfowl, of course, we're going to be using shotguns. This is our custom gun mount. This is a universal clamp style mount that's going to clamp on any barrel from a 22 up to a 12 gauge. So this one mount is going to cover any gun you're hunting with. The camera simply slides into the mount, and then you clamp it down and tighten everything up. And now the camera is filming parallel with your barrel. Everything your gun's pointed at is going to, now capture that video. So that's going to be our primary angle. We'll talk about a couple different angles here and a couple different abilities, and I'll show you guys some different videos for what you can do with this 5.0 system. That's going to be our primary angle. So, you shooting at your bird, capturing slow motion footage, we have the ability to turn a red dot feature on in the center of your screen, which is really helpful in our waterfowl world, your trap shooting, skeet shooting, because it can show you, if you're leading the bird too much, not enough, too high, too low. It's an awesome video aspect, but it's just as much of a tool as it's going to be, fun to use. So slow motion, 4K video, all one touch operation. That's going to be, like I said, your primary video. Now, when it comes to secondary video angles, that's where our 5.0 wide comes in. Your second angle is going to be what sets your video apart from your average waterfowl video to your higher end video. Your second angles of you guys shooting, you guys coming out of your blind, out of your boat, your layout, whatever it may be, your second angle is what really spices that video up and sets you guys apart from, like I said, just your average waterfowl or hunting video. So as far as the second angle, we have our 5.0 regular for your gun and your primary camera, and we have a 5.0 wide angle. The real difference, the 5.0 regular for your gun has the ability to zoom. You want to get nice and close video-wise to what you're shooting at. Our 5.0 wide is going to be a wide angle video to capture as much, as much area as possible. You'll put it behind your blind. It'll get you guys coming up out and get your whole crew shooting. We have them running into decoys. You get the birds coming over. And again, I'll show you a couple clips here just to show you the incredible video you can capture that you're not going to be able to do with a handheld camcorder, a cell phone. You just can't do it in waterfowl. There's too much going on. There's too many moving parts. There's too many eyes on you to realistically capture a solid video, especially from multi angles. It's almost impossible without giving up shooting and have a dedicated videographer, or without running some crazy expensive system. So once we start talking about the wide angle, once we have the Tactacam, this is our universal mount. It's a $10 mount. Once you have this mount, you can use it with our camera. You can now adapt this camera to any GoPro style or aftermarket style mounts on the market. There are thousands of them just on Amazon. Flexible mounts, you can wrap around branches. There's tripod mounts, there's stake mounts. This mount will allow you to use that 5.0 wide in absolutely any aspect you possibly can, and just allow you to capture video that you'll never be able to capture in any other way, except pressing one button on a Tactacam remote and turning up to 5 of your 5.0 cameras on at one time. But guys, if you have any questions while we're going, thank you, Torn, please feel free to ask. More than happy to answer any questions about any mount or any camera as we go. But anyway, so that's going to be our second angle. Torn, I'm going to try to share my screen here quick and just play a couple videos to give these guys ideas of some of the incredible video that we've been able to capture with this Tactacam system here.
It's pulling up now, Rob. Yep.
Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to play a couple quick ones here, just to let you guys know, and I'll kind of talk about them real quickly.
Dang.
So that one video, and I'll give you guys another quick one here. These are both wide angle cameras. Now, this is our secondary angle here that we've put either behind the blind or out in the field to capture. Like I said, just some of these videos, you just can't get any other way. So, like I said, just to give you guys a quick idea, that's what happens when you take the 5.0 wide and our universal mount, and one of those was on a stake that was put out behind the blind, just kind of filming some of us coming out of the blind, shooting over the water, and another one was just a small tripod mount put out in the decoys, getting the big flop coming over. But those are just some of the incredible angles that you can capture. Like I said, that was all we had to do was press the one button on our Tactacam remote, all the cameras turned on, and all of a sudden we've got this video that's, you know, just phenomenal to go back and watch at the end of the day, and, you know, really celebrate. You heard everybody yelling and you know, really having a good time. But to be able to go back to camp, be able to go back and show your friends and family that video after, you could never explain it as much as you could show it to them. Does anybody have any questions here so far? Got anything yet? Torrin or Jim, was there anything you guys specifically wanted me to touch on that I may have missed with anything?
You know what? Yeah, let's just from personal experience, let's talk when you're using your, let's talk the camera on the barrel. So let's talk 5.0.
Okay.
Let's dive into the settings concept, Rob. So you've got the 3 buttons. Tactacam allows you to preset, and people may not realize this, and it's actually very user friendly. You can sync your Wi-Fi on the camera with your cell phone. You go get the free app from the App Store, and what we ran ours in, and you may do yours differently, but I put it in slow-mo on 120 frames per second. And the reason for that was we knew we had a main camera was the cell camera or the bigger camera, right? The 4K camera. And we are time and time again, our best footage is coming from the Tactacams, which is crazy, right? And the reason is it's the eye of the hunter, and I don't know how else to say it. And we met you and Rudy way back the end of May, and we thought we had a pretty good grip on how to run our main cameras. And again, I can't tell you how many times, it's going to sound like a commercial, but how many times you miss the shot on the main camera, you're laughing, and you're kind of pissed, to be honest with you, right? You go back, you get home, you're all excited to look at your footage, and you're like, oh, darn it, I missed it on the big camera. And there you are with this amazing footage on these Tactacams, but that slow motion setting. So I kind of put a lot into that statement, but maybe just kind of dissect what I just said for everybody.
Yep. Yeah. So the 5.0 camera, as simple as it is to press a single button, you can get more complex with the cameras if you want. The camera has the ability to have 3 preset modes on it. Now it comes factory preset with your standard 4K video, a second mode for 8x zoom, and then a third mode for slow motion. Now, if you want to get more involved with it, you can go into the app. It's a free app you download on your phone. All of our 5.0 cameras have onboard Wi-Fi. You can link the camera to your phone via that Wi-Fi and go in and adjust any of the resolutions and any of the zooms on any of those 3 modes to customize them from what may work better for you. So, don't think the camera is, you get what you get kind of thing. You can customize this to many different capabilities to fit your video and hunting style. So that'll touch on that, Jim. Jim really liked the slow motion. A lot of waterfowl guys love the slow motion, especially with the red dot. So like I said,
Right.
the red dot, you can kind of see if you're leading, trailing, too high, too low. But when you're in slow motion, I mean, you can really dissect exactly what's going on when you're shooting, and really kind of critique yourself and correct what you may be doing wrong. At the end of the day, you go, man, I didn't shoot very well today. Well, you can go back to camp and watch that video. I saw one question about a way to play back video in the field. Absolutely. That same exact app I'm talking about that you can go in and change those settings on the camera. You can also view the gallery and all of the videos you recorded on the camera as well, right there in the field, and kind of dissect what you're doing right there at live time. So yes, you can absolutely watch the video while you're in the field. Personally, I'll jump to deer hunting just real quick. I never get down out of my stand while I'm deer hunting without jumping on my camera quick and watching the shot, because as much as I'd like to tell myself that I'm a perfect shot, we all know that's not always the case. I want to go back, I want to watch that video and make sure my shot actually hit where I thought it did before I get down and go bump a deer or whatever it may be. So yes, that is a huge benefit to the Tactacam, is being able to watch the video right then and there. Trey, I saw your video, your comment about the remote. I have not personally had an issue like that with the remote. Definitely sounds like something odd going on with your unit. Screen on the remote would be frozen on a random number. You might have to look into that one a little bit. Might have something definitely off going on. It's definitely not something I would say is common. I run a remote weekly, all of hunting season, never less than 2 or 3 cameras, and I've never had that issue. So definitely something to check into. Feel free to reach out to me outside of this, and we can definitely see what you got going on. And then Jim, what else? Got the part about the mode, and I know we touched on something else there.
Low light settings. So really what that screen does when you're in the app, you can set your frames per second and tailor it to your hunting conditions with those the three different color buttons. So I'll run, like, for example, I'll run on the green button, Rob, the 4K setting, and then I'll run the 2.7K on the next setting, and then the third one I'll put in slow motion, right? So just with a tap of the button, depending on the hunting situation, and if there's multiple shooters, everyone, and you're obviously, a lot of people are watching this because they want to self-film. If Rob and I and Torrin are in a duck blind, what I've done with our guys is one guy will run it on full speed, right, like 4K, and maybe 1 or 2 guys on the slow motion.
Yeah, and you might as well, if you're running multiple units, kind of run them in different, different modes. That way you can just capture all the different video, opportunity you might have. And like you were saying, low light, there's settings, you can customize. My camera has a mode for low light the last 30 minutes of the day. You can absolutely capture better video if you turn frames per second down, to 15 from 30. So those are things you kind of learn as you're out there. You're sitting there, things might be slow. You jump on your app and just spend a little bit of time learning the app and learning the camera and learning, what all the different features do. There's tons of videos out there and how-tos and different ways to kind of, teach yourself how to use the camera. Like I said, there is no simpler way to record your hunt, but it can get really involved if you want it to. And these cameras are so capable. And that's one thing, these cameras can be utilized from someone who has never self-filmed to someone who is, an experienced pro at it. There's endless opportunity for what these cameras can do for you. Brandon, the amounts, they're all, they're metal, they're heavy duty, they're tested on up to 50 cals. Absolutely, they would hand up to an AR. This is our, we call it our underscope mount, but it mounts on a rail system. So a lot of guys use it for crossbow, but it'll work on any style scope that has a rail mounted system. It'll also work on a pick rail and an AR. So absolutely, this camera, and that's the best part about these cameras, they're universal. One camera is going to do everything. We're talking about waterfowl, but when I'm done duck hunting, Friday, I can take this 5.0 camera off and I can go put it on my pick rail mount here, and I can go hog hunting with it. I can take it off on Monday and put it on my compound bow with my stabilizer mount. This is literally one camera does it all. It's just different mounts that you've got to get to be able to put it on anything you may be hunting with. So yes, Brandon, this will hold up day in and day out. For any kind of hog hunting or any hunting in general you're going to do. An AR is absolutely no problem. I shoot them every year on ARs. Justin, different setup, rain or bad weather. These cameras are weatherproof. So you can sit in the rain, snow, sleet all day, and you're not going to have an issue. I like to keep a cloth or a paper towel in my pocket just to wipe the screen every once in a while, just because you get water or snow or something on it. But you are not going to sit, in any kind of weather that's going to affect this camera. This camera is going to be perfectly fine in the elements all day long. So Justin, perfectly fine. We do a lot of sea duck hunting. I spend a lot of my waterfowl season in Delaware. So we're talking saltwater, gonna corrode and eat everything out that it possibly can. And these cameras are always with me. This one went, all last season. It's been out there all this season, and it still looks brand new. I wipe it off at the end of the day, clean the lens, and it's ready to go through another day's hunt. So that one's good. Or how many cameras can you connect to one remote, and what is the distance that you can reach? So you can link up to 5 of the 5.0 cameras to a remote at one time. So you want to start off, a lot of people start off with a single camera, whether it be your primary camera on your weapon or that wide angle camera to get as much as possible. But that's the best part about this, is you can start with a single camera and grow your arsenal from there. So you figure out, hey, I prefer to start with having that slow motion footage from your gun with the red dot, see where I'm shooting, or hey, my first priority is getting that awesome wide angle video of us coming out of the blind, and then you can just build. And like I said, up to 5 cameras. As far as range, 30 to 50 yards, not going to be a problem. So, as far as your waterfowl hunting, I don't foresee you guys putting any cameras, more than 50 yards away from you. I'll run some of them, in the maybe 30 to 40 yard range, all the way out at like the end of my decoy spread, kind of watching back into the spread and towards the blinds and stuff. And the remote's got absolutely no issue reaching the cameras out there, as well as the ones in the blind on the guns and the ones behind the blinds looking the opposite direction. Justin, you're welcome. Are there any head or hat type mounts for a first? Absolutely. This is a Tactacam head style mount. So you can run it on your head. And again, that actually comes with the universal mount. So you can then run the Tactacam camera directly on the side of your head for that first person view. We don't have a hat style mount. There are tons, Dylan, of clamp style hat mounts on the market, like I'm sure you've seen. Once you have this universal mount again, you can make the 5.0 camera work with any of those hat style mounts, because they all accept this dual tabbed mounting system here. So once you have our camera and the mount, you can either buy our head mount or you can buy one of them hat style mounts, and you are perfectly good for that first person angle. Brandon, how far away are they connectable? And if they lose connection, will they store footage until reconnected? Yeah, Brandon, they won't lose connection. The only thing that would happen is like, for somehow your remote died or something like that, and you weren't able to turn it off, that camera, until you either turn it off with the remote or you manually turn it off via the power button on the camera itself, it's going to continue to record. As long as you have sufficient size SD card, which I'll hit quick, that's how this camera saves footage. It's not internal memory. All you do is put a micro SD card inside the camera, at least a 32 gig. That way you can store hours and hours of footage. At the end of the day, you can either watch the video on your phone or you can pop that SD card out, put it in your computer, and watch it that way. So it does have its own SD slot. Here's your battery right in the same pocket. Back cap just goes right on the camera and locks. So, but yeah, the camera will just either keep recording until the card fills up or the battery dies. Now you're going to get 2.5 hours of runtime out of the battery. So you're going to have at least 2.5 hours of footage before that battery cuts out on you. So you know, plenty of time there. You can keep extra batteries. They're less than 20 bucks. I always keep an extra battery in my pocket just in case. You know, you have an action-packed day and you're just constantly running the cameras. So yes, Brandon, they're going to continue to save all that footage right there on the card, even if your remote dies or something like that. In a normal hunting setup, what are the various angles you would say for sure to capture, for example, over the shoulder versus attached to head or hat? So my two must-have angles when I'm hunting, I want one on my gun or bow to face the animal. That's important to me. I want to see what I'm shooting at. I want to use the regular 5.0 with the zoom capability because I want to get in on that object, you know, and get a better picture. The wide angles are not the greatest for mounting on your gun or bow to video the deer or the duck. It is such a wide angle, the object you're shooting at is too small and you just can't get a good and clear video of your shot. So the regular 5.0 with the 3 to 8 time adjustable zoom, that's my primary angle always, and always a must-have for me. My second is going to be a 5.0 wide behind me in some manner. So when I'm in a tree stand, I'll have a 5.0 wide up in the tree behind me, use this universal mount, and I've got a flexible style mount that I'll wrap around either a branch or I'll wrap it around like my Realtree bow hanger that I hang my bow on, and video over the shoulder of me taking the shot down out of the tree, you know, of my bow or gun or whatever it may be. Those two angles to me are key to my videos. If I can get a third, fourth angle, awesome. But that primary of the object I'm shooting at and the second of me in some shape or form taking the shot are two important angles. Plus, when I'm done, I take my 5.0 wide off from behind me, and then I do my interview with it. I talk to it. I, you know, get my reaction and get all that extra B-roll. So your wide angle is going to be your secondary. Record me taking the shot. Your B-roll, your interview camera, your wide angle is going to be priceless, you know, as far as having that second camera. So again, whatever you guys start with, it's up to you and which one is your preferred video angle. But those two cameras are must-haves, the regular and a wide. And again, both of them cameras, I hit my remote and both of them come on within seconds. And just like that, by myself, I'm creating a multiple angle video that I can go back and edit together and just really turn into an incredible production after the fact. So the head and hat, some guys like them. I myself, I don't prefer to wear a camera on my head. Some guys absolutely love them. Seasoned Butcher, Jim and them guys got some great head mounted video, the POV. I myself just, I don't like to wear the head mount. I just don't like it on my head personally. It's an awesome video, but my two preferreds are the primary and the secondary over the shoulder. So those would be my go-to angles, and the same for waterfowl hunting. My shotgun, and then depending on if I'm hunting, I'm going to have a stake behind the blind with a 5.0 wide videoing over us shooting, or most of my time I'm on my boat hunting with a boat blind. And I use this is a YOLO Tech. It's called a power pole. So it hooks into my navigation light port on my boat. And what it does is it actually supplies constant power to my camera. Now this is one of the Tactacam fisheye cameras that I've repurposed to hunt with. It's the same video angle as a 5.0 wide. I myself don't fish, so I just turned this into a hunting camera. But with this power pole, if you're hunting on a boat, you can actually supply your camera with power all day, and then you don't even have to worry about a battery. You can literally run this for 8 hours the entire day while you're hunting and just continue to capture endless video. So like I said, the options are absolutely endless as far as the mounts go. once you have a $10 universal mount from Tactacam. There's not a mount on the market that doesn't use this 2-tab system to mount to, so you guys will be covered. Jim, yep, there's Jim's thing if you guys want to check out the product or anything. Dalton, what separates these from the competitors such as ShotCam? Glad you asked that. ShotCam. So ShotCam is just a standard 1080 video. Ours recorded in 4K. I don't know if you guys have done much editing, but when you have the ability to edit in 4K and start in 4K with that much higher of a video quality, you really have a lot more ability as far as what you can do with editing, zooming. When you zoom in, your video is going to stay a lot clearer and get less pixelated. As far as ShotCam, it's an okay camera, very expensive. ShotCams are $650. I'll tell you right now, these Tactacam 5.0s retail at $299. You guys have an even better price than that. So just to start, Tactacam 5.0 versus ShotCam, Tactacam 5.0 is less than half the price. So that's a huge ordeal just to begin. I can buy my 5.0 for my gun and my 5.0 wide and the remote. So 2 cameras plus the remote to run it for the same price as one ShotCam. So that right there is substantial as far as I'm concerned. The video quality, the zoom capability, the 5.0 regular camera has the ability to zoom up to 8 times. ShotCam cannot do that. The battery, you have the ability with a Tactacam to change batteries out if it dies. ShotCam battery is internal. So if your battery dies while you're in the field, I hope you got a power bank or a generator with you to recharge it. Otherwise, you're kind of out of luck until the next day. My battery dies. I pop the cap off, slide the battery out, throw it aside, pull the other out of my pocket, put it back on, and in 10 seconds, I'm running again. So again, I keep, you guys get batteries for less than 20 bucks. Keep one in your pocket. It's nice to have a spare. And the same with the memory. You have the ability to swap out SD cards, and there's no internal storage, no internal battery with that. And again, when I'm done waterfowl hunting, I can take that 5.0 camera off of my shotgun and I can put it on my rifle, my crossbow, my AR, my compound bow, and use it on any different aspects with the different Tactacam mounts. You're pretty limited. ShotCam's got that clamp style, and unless you can find a way to rig that on your crossbow, or your compound bow, it's kind of a single purpose camera. So those are a couple of the big points. Dalton, if you have any more that I missed or anything else ShotCam can do, they've got the reticle to ShotCam like your red dot. Tactacam 5.0 has that. ShotCam has slow motion. We have that, but we have it at an even slower frame rate to give you better slow motion. So if I miss something ShotCam can do, let me know. But as far as capability, it's not even close as to how much more a 5.0 can do compared to ShotCam at less than half the cost. Mason, yep, yeah. So 2.5 hours of runtime per battery charge. Again, you pop it out, throw another battery in for less than 20 bucks, and you can double that to 5 hours. Thorn, thank you. Take my hat off a lot. Just always have to adjust it. Yeah. So Justin, some people absolutely love the head mount, and that's fine. Me, it's all about comfort. I did buy one of the hat clamps that was asked about earlier. That's what I use when I'm waterfowl hunting and I want a first-person video. I don't use the head mount. I've got the 5.0 camera in my universal, and I clamp it on my hat. And then the best part is I do a bunch of shooting. I unclamp it. I can talk to the camera for a minute, say what just happened, and I clamp it back on in a second, and I've got my first-person angle back. There's no way to connect solo hunt camera to remote. BJ, correct. Yeah, the solo camera, that is an entry-level camera for us. It's at a lower price point. And one of the downfalls to that compared to the 5.0 is that it cannot connect to the remote system. The 5.0 and the 5.0 wide are the 2 cameras from Tactacam that are able to use the remote to start, pause, and stop those from recording. Justin, have you ever mounted one to a dog? I have not personally, but on the last webinar, that was a huge question that we got asked a couple of times. Someone was rabbit hunting and bird hunting and wanted to mount one of these cameras to your dog. So absolutely, we have video of that. You'll want the 5.0 wide. That way you can catch, the widest view possible. And again, 5.0 wide with this universal mount. There's mounts online that can either mount the camera to your dog's chest, or there's also a mount that'll set the camera above your dog's back and then view over your dog's head, which when your dog is jumping out of a boat or, you know, kicking a pheasant up out of the grass or something like that, that's an incredible wide and second angle of that dog on your dogs with just an absolutely the 5.0 wide, and again a $10 universal mount, and you can absolutely mount it to a dog. Not
Rob, I was going to chime in, Rob. Everybody, what he's saying is absolute. If you do some homework on Amazon, there are ancillary devices, multiple ancillary devices that you can find, and what you need to do is type in different phrases like action camera vest for dogs, action camera. I forget. I've got links that I've stored, but he's absolutely right. There's even one where you can go with 2 cameras, one on the chest here and then the one above the shoulder blades. So Rob is absolutely right. It's a matter of what we've found is for those of you that are here to sell film, which is why you're watching this, what is your end goal? What do you desire to have? And from firsthand experience, and that's what's cool about collaborating with Rob and Torrin. Torrin had texted me and said, tell him this story. These guys know I shot a decent buck, and you'll be able to see we're editing the video. It's going to be a short video, but I shot him in Missouri. I live in Wisconsin, and I was using a cell phone for the main camera, and then I was in a split tree, so I had the wide actually out in front of me, Rob. So the wide was looking down on me this way. So when I was on my tree stand, I'm looking at it, and I realized we're here for waterfowl, but it's the same concept. And then I had on my stabilizer the gun clamp, right? The same clamp he's got on his shotgun right now. I wasn't even using the stabilizer mount, Rob, so I had the 5.0 with the gun clamp wrapped around my stabilizer. Okay, everybody? And the buck came off my right shoulder. Well, in the end, when we reviewed the footage, this is the cool part. The wide, which I'm looking at myself here, you guys can't see this, but the wide that was facing down at me caught the buck walking the 5, because he was so close to me at 8 yards, right? So I picked up ancillary footage from the 5.0 wide, and then I ended up, because I had to guess on my cell phone, I did not have time to move my main camera. So I actually, when I was drawing my bow back, drew back early to aim at that buck with that 5.0, right? Followed him for about 5 yards and then took the shot. And then for the next 7.
Okay, so we're good. We'll touch back on Jim there in just a second. I think he froze up. But Jim's absolutely correct. I myself got involved with Tactacam because I wanted to film my hunts. I run a big camera. I still do. I'm not going to lie. I've got a Canon camera that I run on a tree arm when I'm hunting. I run it on a tripod when I'm in a blind or on a boat. I realized very quickly how difficult that was to catch video and still successfully and ethically make a shot. It's difficult. When you capture footage on a big camera, on a tree arm, or whatever it may be, it's rewarding because it's difficult. More times than not, what I find myself doing, turning my remote on, turning my Tactacams on, and that big camera stays on that tripod, out of focus, the different direction. You just don't have time for it. Waterfowl, I can't stress that enough. Birds are flying too fast. How often do birds just show up in your face? It's not always that you can see them coming from a mile. They lock up perfect and they come and land right in the pocket of your decoys. Let's face it, anybody that's hunted waterfowl knows them birds are going to circle you. They're going to land outside of your decoys. A big camera without having a dedicated camera person is almost impossible in every hunting aspect, but more so in the waterfowl world. What you can create for less than $300 with Tactacam and the video that you can capture, especially compared to capturing nothing, is priceless. And that's, I think, what Jim was leading at. I know Jim spent a lot of time this year with his guys just filming and not even shooting because he couldn't shoot and film at the same time. just impossible, especially when you're duck hunting, because the action is so fast. It's just impossible to do and get successful and good footage. Tactacam, the opportunities are endless. Once you find the mounting system and the way you want to set it up, you can create professional looking footage all day long and record it in 4K. That's the best part. I mean, most of the time we're editing this down to 1080 for YouTube purposes or whatever, but you have 4K video coming off of these cameras for less than $300 to begin with, and just editing from there. So Jim, if I missed something there, I think we got what you were talking about. And
Yeah, no, I'm back. I apologize. When you live up in the sticks here, you got sketchy internet. I'm not even going to turn my camera on because that.
No worries. But yeah,
you nailed it. And honestly, they saw where I was going with my babbling. Guys and gals, it has added a dimension. And again, we're new to this. Prior to late turkey season, Charlie and I had never filmed ever. And we've wore Rob and Rudy and torn out asking for tips and pointers. And I don't know what it is, but time and time again on all our hunts without the Tactacams, let me say it this way, Rob. Without these Tactacams, we'd have our tail way between our legs right now.
I got multiple texts from you this season saying the Tactacam saved us or something along those lines.
Right.
And I'm the same way. I was very fortunate this hunting season. Tagged out in Maryland. I killed 3 bucks this year. And as much time as I literally deal with videoing hunting for a living, and as much time and as good as I like to tell myself I am with all this camera equipment, 2 out of those 3 deer, the only video I got were from my Tactacams. I could not, one of them, my big camera just decided to die because the battery couldn't handle the cold like the lithium batteries and the Tactacam could. It died on me seconds before taking the shot. So, as you can imagine, I was thrilled about that, but I had 2 angles from my Tactacams because they were rocking and rolling. The second one was a rut hunt that happened so quick. The buck came in, couldn't even think about taking and adjusting, turning on my big camera, hit my remote. All of a sudden, boom, 2 angles. The third buck, I was fortunate enough to be in an elevated blind with a tripod and be able to have time. But 2 out of 3 of those deer this year, if I didn't have my Tactacams, I'd literally have either no video or I'd have no deer to show for it. So,
right.
It's just, it gets no easier. It's one button on the camera or the remote. It can't get any easier than a single tap, and all of a sudden you're producing video. Dalton, it's impossible with the big camera for waterfowl. I'm typically calling, working the jerk rig, calling shots, and overall running the hunt. That's why I'm interested in Tactacam. You're absolutely correct. You're either dedicated camera guy, sitting behind all your buddies outside of spread, missing out on the fun just to try to get some video, or you guys are shooting birds and just getting no material. You can change all that with Tactacam. Very, very.
Let me add to that, Rob. Dalton, the other thing we've noticed, and again, we're bringing a new perspective because this is all new, the filming. In our blinds, the wides have helped us because if you are that camera person that's sitting back and you're filming, what's happening is you imagine the footage that you have when you're going through that, the sheer amount of footage the editor has to go through, where you can reach over and tap these 5.0 wides when you're there as a group. You follow me? And you're picking up those fun shots of the crew hanging out, the laughing, the joking, tripping, fall, whatever. We've caught some really cool moments. And what are you going to do? Take your big camera and go, hey, Rob, would you mind falling over again and, falling in the water so we can get that on film? We go back and we're getting that stuff on the 5.0 wides.
Right. And let's face it. What sets a hunting video apart from the rest? We've all seen 1,000 birds shot. We've all seen 1,000 deer killed. what you laugh at and what you remember, what you take away is that behind the scenes. It's what the second angle, the 5.0 wide, it's what that catches. Falling in the water, falling off the boat. I can't tell you how much video we've got in the morning. Like I said, we spend a lot of our time out in Delaware on the boat hunting, and we get out there hours before light. We're cooking breakfast. I've always got my 5.0 wides rolling while we're sitting there frying eggs, talking, laughing, having a good time. That's what sets the video apart. The kill shot, necessary, absolutely. Everybody wants to see something get shot at the end of the day. But what sets that video apart and what makes it fun, what makes it memorable is behind the scenes, your B-roll, you and your buddies cutting it up, high-fiving, laughing. I've said it before and I've seen it. I said it on the last one. All these guys that have to reenact these shots and the excitement and everything else, and they're sitting there and they're pouring water on their eyes, pretending to cry and reenacting this. I just killed the biggest deer in my life, and yay, high five. That's all great. But you can tell it's fake. When you got a 5.0 wide looking at you when you shoot the biggest deer of your life and you're crying for real, that's what sets the memory. That's what people remember. So there's nothing like capturing that real time, real reaction on that Tactacam. And like I said, again, for the price, when you compare it to anything else, using your cell phone, that's fine. That's great till you got a call come in and your video disappears. You can't even see what you're looking at. That's fine. Your big cameras, clunky, heavy, impossible to run and shoot at the same time when you're waterfowl hunting. And the price of all this stuff, like I said, for less than the cost of a shot cam, you can have 2 Tactacams and a remote. It's crazy to even think about going a different direction. And once you guys start using the stuff, you'll realize very quickly how capable. Brandon, would the powder of a muzzleloader be a problem? Getting on the lens, I had a GoPro that got messed up because of the powder residue. No, I mean you'd have to seriously find a way to cake some residue. I've killed numerous deer with muzzleloaders with this camera, and like I said, it's never even remotely been an issue whatsoever. I wouldn't put it super. I never run my camera at the very end of the barrel. I always offset it a little bit. You can also take this mount, and if you're running like an inline muzzleloader with a scope, you can clamp this on the tube of the scope so it's back even further, or you can use this FTS. This is an FTS mount. I haven't showed you guys this one, but this stands for film through scope. So this actually allows us to take that 5.0 camera and adapt it to a crossbow or gun scope, and now we can video through your scope, and the camera sees your crosshairs and everything. You guys want to do another one, we can definitely touch on that. But no, the muzzleloader is not going to affect it at all. Wrapping up here, last bit of questions. Can we get the code? BJ, Jim will definitely pop the link in the code up again. What's the focal range of the 5.0? I have the 4.0 Coyote at 40 yards. The camera's on full zoom and it was difficult to see. So the focal range is going to depend on what zoom you have it set on. Now, your baseline zoom that the cameras come on is 3 times. That 4.0 maxed out at a 5. So it was only 2 further than baseline. This 5.0 goes up to 8 times zoom. And Corey, it also has image stabilization built into it now to also steady the shot when it's zoomed in that far. So essentially, the 5.0 has capability to zoom over twice as far as that 4.0 camera did. Plus, it has the image stabilization to take the shot out of a shock and really steady that video for you. So the 4.0 is an awesome camera at the time, but the 5.0 has come a long way from that 4.0 camera with the features it has. So thank you for asking that. Brandon, the code. Jim, you want to pop that code up there again for these guys? Or they're definitely
yeah, I just put it up there, guys. I put it so you can actually go right to it and just save it in your favorites. If you want to grab it there, and then on the replay, Torin is going to pop it up on the screen when he edits it.
Any other questions, guys? I appreciate all the questions. It's awesome questions and definitely very important things to touch on. And if you have any questions after this, by all means, Torin, feel free to give these guys my contact like last time. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have, just to make sure you guys are completely well educated before making your purchase. And even after the fact, once you get these cameras, if you have questions about mounts, accessories, modes, adjustments, somebody here can absolutely help you. It's what we're here to do. We want you guys to produce incredible video. I want to see everything you guys record the rest of this season. So make sure you ask questions, give me a call, shoot me an email, and make sure you send me your videos from all your Tactacam once you get them and get out there and start shooting.
All right. Well, Rob, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Jim, you as well. I dropped the code in the chat. Like Jim said, it is the Seasoned Busher / Tactacam / service side. I will make sure that I email out the website link as well as the code to all the participants. For everybody that's on here, if you're not already a member of Serviceside, you should really consider becoming a member. We do webinars like this where you will only have access going into the new year by being a Serviceside member. We offer a Hunt Club membership at $40 for the year. You'll get access to all the webinars, the Hunt Lab, partnership discounts, the whole deal. It's pretty much a no-brainer as far as the amount of savings that you have, as well as being part of one of the best hunting communities in the industry. So be sure to check that out at serviceside.com. I will link Rob's contact information in the follow-up email. So if anybody has any questions, or maybe there's something that is in a different niche, let's say turkey hunting, or you have more specific waterfowl, archery hunting uses for the Tactacam products, Rob will be happy to answer those questions. If you potentially have any ideas as far as how you want to, if you're a Serviceside field staffer that's submitting content, how you can use the Tactacam system and apply it to the videos and get paid out, get a hold of me, get a hold of Justin. My email is torn@serviceside.com. Happy to help you out there. It's more about telling the story, like Rob said, than your stereotypical in the tree, blah, 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 TV stuff that you're seeing. And this system is very, very capable of making it easier to obtain that footage. So I'll make sure I get that stuff out. Thanks again, everybody, for hopping on and taking the time out of your evening to check out our webinar.
Thanks for your time, everyone.